So I want to talk about a different aspect of heroism, and it's helping people take an heroic journey. So I'll talk about this in three parts: how I came to discover this, what the opportunity is, and then just share some of my ideas on how you can do it too. So firstly, behind every hero is a mentor. And so we see this in popular culture, that behind Frodo in Lord of the Rings is Gandalf, behind Harry Potter is Dumbledore, behind Luke in Star Wars was Yoda, behind the Banks family was Mary Poppins. So the mentor actually prepares the hero to face the unknown and also to embark on the journey. And as Matt just said, that there's opportunities for heroism everywhere and probably every day. And so I'll talk about where I discovered it, and it's an unlikely place it's not obvious that it's heroic. So I worked for this man. Do you recognise him? It's Bill Gates. So he's the founder of Microsoft. I worked for Microsoft for 15 years. In the time that Microsoft started as a small player in the computing industry and became a global force. And I was about a decade into working for Microsoft when the corporation had a challenge, which was that it was, in its business market, was facing a revenue cliff. So a revenue cliff means there was this risk that revenues could drop a lot. And the problem was that companies were paying for their software on a subscription every year, and they got to a point where they weren't actually using the new software. So a simple way to understand this is like your Netflix subscription. You pay every month, and there's always some new television program, some new movie to watch. And if there wasn't, you'd stop paying for it. And it was the same with corporations. They'd stopped using the new things, and they were coming up to a lot of the ends of their life cycles of their agreements. And we knew that they wouldn't renew, and it was tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars just in Australia that was at risk. So I was asked to address this challenge. I'd been good at selling and had sold some of Microsoft's biggest deals worldwide with organisations like Telstra and ANZ and Colesmeyer, who'd all been my responsibility. And the manager who gave me this job thought, oh, well, you're good at selling, let's go and sell them on the new technology so that they do renew and life continues as normal with us making lots and lots of revenue and profit. So, when we think about selling, there is a lot of selling that's about getting people to do what you want them to do, and it's often by irritation or manipulation or pushing them, and we're probably all familiar with that when we pick up those phone calls with the call centre with a scripted, somebody with a script on the other end. They call it dinner time. They want you to change your energy plan or move to a new telecoms company. You're familiar with those sort of calls? They don't know what you need or really want, but it's like, we want you to do this. It's perhaps the worst of it is perhaps exemplified in this movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, where Leonardo DiCaprio played Jordan Belfort, who ran a business that was using hard sell techniques to get people to buy penny stocks and junk kind of stocks. And he made an absolute fortune and ended up going to jail. So that's the worst of selling. So I looked at this problem actually in a different way, which is, why would companies move? Why would they change? And if they were to do it, how would they do it? So when you ask why, what you realise is that companies and people have somewhere that they want to be. There's somewhere, a reality where they are today, and that is a journey to move from the present into the future. So we all have that journey of going from present to future. And when you understand that it's a journey, you understand that it's a story. And when you understand it's a story, you understand that they're the centre of the story. They're the centre of their own story. They're the hero of their own story. So all organisations are the hero of their own story, and people are often the hero of their own stories individually. So if you want people to change, how do you motivate them? So part of it is not just how, but also to have the energy and motivation, especially if it's to do something big and to do something new. So there's some different ways of doing this, and there's some ways that we're familiar with. One way is fear. So this man who's been in the news recently said that Melburnians were terrified to go out to dinner because they were being terrorised by African gangs. So in Victoria, in a year, there's something like 400,000 crimes. There's 200 aggravated burglaries committed by Australian Sudanese, the group that he's referring to. You're 100 times more likely to have a crime committed against you by somebody who looks just like you than a Sudanese Australian. But this was really playing on people's fears and trying to use the fear of the community to gather support to themselves that they could then be tough on crime. So it's using fear. And there's another way, which is greed. So who saw these sort of things? When Bitcoin, this cryptocurrency, was like the craze and it was just going up and up and up in value, a whole lot of people came in and said, okay, you can be a millionaire quickly if you buy our program, which will teach you how to trade Bitcoin. And it was all fine. They didn't tell you about the risks, and it was all fine till Bitcoin kind of crashed in price. But that was appealing to people's greed. There is another way. And the other way is that people and organisations too, even the big companies, actually do have aspirations. They do wish for a better future, that the people that work in them do wish to do something bigger than themselves, that they do wish to create benefit. So if we think about it, an airline, and Qantas just made great profits, but an airline allows us to go and see loved ones. An airline allows us to have adventures. An airline allows you, if you've got a product or an idea, to go somewhere outside your own town to sell it and promote it. The same, a telecommunications company allows you to connect with people. An energy company allows you to live a lifestyle. So all these companies actually are serving people, that they're doing something bigger, that they are creating benefit. But really what happens is a lot of these companies and a lot of these people lose sight of that. They lose sight of the bigger purpose. They lose sight of the aspiration. It becomes hidden. So if you can help people see the aspiration, the bigger future, how they can be of service, then can encourage them to leave the comfort of their day-to-day, their routine, and go and do something bigger than themselves and help them take that journey. So it's perhaps easier to understand individually, but if you think about it in business, how does that work? There's a good example. We've got a banking royal commission that's looking at financial planning, and what they're finding is lots of bad culture and lots of bad unethical practices. Financial planners selling products to people that they shouldn't sell them to, or it's the wrong product and the people are worse off because of it, or charging people and delivering no service. I love this one, charging dead people. But if you think about it, they've lost sight. Financial planning is about, it's about being able to retire securely. So it's about financial security. It's about being able to fund your children's education or perhaps help them buy a house. It's about all these life things, and they've lost sight of their purpose. They've lost sight of how they serve people. But they can do it. So I've worked with financial planners, an organisation called Strategy First Financial Planning. And what they do is they understand the aspirations of their clients and then create a great plan and really work hard to help them realise it. So they're able to actually see the bigger purpose, and they've built a great business and they're growing. So they're doing everything that a business wants and serving a bigger purpose at the same time. So you can do both. So how to be a mentor. So here's some ideas I'd like to share with you. So understand, your hero's story, the person you're trying to help. Uncover their truths. So part of what's hidden is this bigger aspiration, this service. Uncover that, but also you need to uncover the current reality, the issues, the challenges, the pain of the current situation, because that's always present, so that you actually get the full truth. And show them that you understand them. So people are only going to trust you if they feel understood. They're not going to take your advice if they don't feel understood. Create the journey with them. So that's co-creating, not telling them what to do, but co-creating the solution and the journey and inspiring them to act. So if you can help them see their aspirational future, understand the pain in the present, and see the way that they can move from the present to the future, it actually creates a lot of energy to act. And it's a way that people will be motivated, and you don't have to use fear and greed and other heavy-handed levers to do it. You can get people to act in their own interest. So to come back to Microsoft, that's exactly what we did. We created a service. We rolled it out to 50 clients, big organisations. We helped them see their preferred future. We uncovered it, understand their current pains, created the roadmap, and what we did was protected $100 million in revenue. So Microsoft achieved its small agenda, but we also addressed a big agenda that we actually helped these organisations see a better future and advance towards it. So there's always a bigger, better future waiting for every person and waiting for every organisation. And there's an opportunity to support people and to help them find a better way and to create a journey that benefits both themselves and others, and they can do it at the same time. Thank you.
The Hero Roundtables are the global events that ask the question, what is a hero? You've just seen one hero talk. To find more and join the conversation, visit our website or social media.